Welcome, welcome, welcome to opening day on WFAA Plus. The Texas Rangers season ready to begin. We are, 2 hours away from first pitch. Mike Leslie, Michelle Montaigne here with you on WFAA Plus for the next hour or so, getting you ready for the Rangers to take on the Boston Red Sox. And Rangers, Michelle, are a team that everybody feels like is going to be quite good this year.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, the moves that they made this offseason, we have to give Chris Young a lot of credit. And that's no directive to the fact that he's a general manager in a market where GMs are not necessarily everyone's favorite people right now.
No, it's completely unrelated to that entirely.
Not at all. But I will say, bringing in the reinforcements he did into the lineup, Jake Berger, Jock Peterson, guys who can really slug, which is something they missed greatly last season. Those were notable improvements on the offensive side of things. And then, of course, on the pitching staff, the rotation, as of 4 weeks ago, was going to be one of the most
looking great.
Yeah, exciting in all of baseball. Now, of course, it's baseball and injuries happen. Now, we're looking at a couple of rookies in the starting rotation as things stand today. All of that is to say the moves they made to improve what they ended 2024 with this offseason have been really promising. And I think not only is opening day one of the best days of the year every year, should be a national holiday in my opinion, but the fact that there is so much to be excited about with this 2025 roster for the Rangers, that adds to this opening day excitement.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy talked about it a little bit ago when he did his pregame media availability, that they're disappointed with the way the 2024 went, with the way that they followed up their World Series campaign in 23. And he said, listen, we know what it takes, but we're focused on getting right back where we were 2 years ago. You mentioned the additions of Peterson and Berger. One area where this team really struggled last year, and it was a little surprising given as good as this lineup has been prior to last season, they couldn't hit the fastball.
Yeah.
Peterson and Berger hit the fastball at a really, really high level. That's just those two guys should help in that regard. And then you hope anyway that maybe a rising tide lifts all boats and everybody hits the fastball better this year because they need to.
Well, I mean that, and you think about an Adolis Garcia who was good at that in 23 and then really fell off last year. But we know that Adolis wasn't at 100%. Several players, Wyatt Langford wasn't 100%. Evan Carter was dealing with injuries last year. Josh Young missed some time due to injuries. And I feel like you and I, the fact that we cover the Cowboys and the Mavericks and every other team in this town, we're used to talking about injuries. But the Rangers were also hit with that last season. And I think the fact that so many of them are feeling better, are healthy coming into this season. Not only should they be better at that specific thing, which was clearly lacking last year, but I think they should be better all around just based on the fact that they're feeling better coming into the year.
You look at the rotation. You mentioned the injuries. Cody Bradford, John Gray, both will be out for a little while. It's going to be sooner that we see Cody Bradford come back. John Gray's going to be a minute. And you have a couple of rookies making their way into the pitching staff. You're going to see Kumar Rocker take on a bigger role. You're going to see Jack Leiter take on a much bigger role for this team this year. There's still enough with the three guys that are left over with the pitching staff to kind of carry things, but these two guys are going to be asked to grow up in a hurry.
Yeah, I think, Jack looked really good through spring training, and I think that's why he's going to be the day 2 starter. Kumar Rocker got off to a little bit of a slower start there in the spring, and I think that's where some question marks arose. Neither of those two guys have all that many innings in the big leagues. Yes, they both debuted last year, but they're still very, not only just young pitchers in general, but they have very limited major league innings under their belts. So the fact that they're being put into this position, there is a lot on their shoulders. Now, Jack has the benefit of the fact that he's been around this game since he was yay big. He also has a dad who doubles as a coach, who doubles as a mentor and a probably psychologist. He has some help.
All of the above. Yeah.
Kumar, on the other hand, has shown really impressive stuff during his innings that he has earned with the Rangers. And then these last 2 starts, I believe it was, in spring training. 8 strikeouts in 14 innings. I don't have the numbers exactly right, but he looked really good as the spring went on. And so, yes, they're going to be asked to do a lot and to carry a lot of the load. But at the same time, I think, the only way they're going to get experience is by doing it. So it'll be exciting to see 2 guys who the Rangers really believe in, who they use their first round picks on, back-to-back years on. It'll be exciting to see them getting the experience they need to get better.
One thing that you noticed with the lineup today that is worth discussing, and it's probably not a huge concern, but it's a little concerning because, like you said, injuries were an issue last year. You don't want to see them be an issue this year. Corey Seager's been kind of battling that calf. They've got him in the DH spot today, and they've got Josh Smith playing short.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it. It's probably more precautionary than anything. Look, you don't want to have your all-star MVP caliber player getting hurt in an instance where, it's March baseball we're talking about here. Like, yes, you want to get off to a good start, but
sure,
these games and having Corey Seager healthy in March are not as important as the games in September and October, hopefully, and having Corey Seager be healthy then. So, yes, I think you mentioned it. Like, it does feel precautionary, but it's not nothing. If this was something he could play through, you best believe Corey Seager's going to want to be playing shortstop on opening day.
That's just who Corey Seager was.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yes.
This dude, any day. Yeah. So, yeah, it still clearly bothers him enough that he acquiesced when Boch and the Rangers coaching staff came to him and said, hey, what if we do this?
Yeah.
For Corey Seager to actually go, all right, fine, it's still bothering him at least enough for that to be the case. The one other thing we got to talk about before we make our way outside, we're going to interact with some fans as they make their way in. The tailgate scene outside Globe Life Field is always fun, so we're going to go have some hot dogs and some beers, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. But there was something that we all noticed. I noticed it on Monday, actually, and I didn't think there was any chance it wasn't coming back. The World Series banner that was hung last year on this day before the opener wasn't there on Monday, and I thought, well, surely it'll be back for opening day, but as you see our photographer Paul Melton spin around, it's still not here. So as we came in the door today and we noticed that, we checked with Rich Rice, the Rangers PR director, and he said that was actually never intended to be a permanent thing. He said the representation, as Paul works his way around to the left field side where you see all of the division championship placards and the American League Championship in 10 and 11, that 2023 World Series Championship placard there in left field is the permanent representation of that championship season. We were all a little surprised by this change. Like, why not just let that banner hang out there forever, right?
Did you not think it was getting dry cleaned?
It's exactly what I said on Monday. Oh, they're just dry cleaning the banner or whatever. It'll be back for opening day. I guess not. And listen, we talked with Michael Young right after Bruce Bochy talked, and he did have a good thought on this, that, hey, listen, this is representative of, we're proud of what we did in 2023, but our focus is forward. We're not thinking about that anymore. We're trying to go win another one.
Yeah.
I like that mentality, but I kind of feel like from a fan perspective, like you want to come into your home stadium and see, all right, that.
Remember
like,
that? Those were the days?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm a little surprised. I've seen a lot of reaction from fans. They're pretty surprised by it too. Again, I like the mentality shift within the clubhouse, but you can have that mentality shift in the clubhouse and still have the banner there in right field. But
you think about a basketball arena or a hockey arena, you think about what Jerry Jones has built and the Super Bowl is aligning the entryway at the Star. There are ways to say, yes, the Cowboys are not a good example, I guess.
No, they're not.
I'm saying we're still trying to win another one, but we have, been successful in the past, and we want to remember that and celebrate it. I'm totally with you. The placards that Paul just showed you are probably not as aesthetically pleasing as the big banner was, but I really think it was interesting.
Texas, everything's bigger, right? Except for apparently the World Series celebration.
Celebration was big, but I will say
That's true.
Along those lines, Chris Young also went into the fact that the opening day roster, the 26-man roster, was also built on meritocracy. It wasn't just relying on the fact that Dane Dunning had a great World Series run in 2023, right, or that Evan Carter was the little savior in 2023. Yep. Neither of those two guys are on the 26-man roster come today. And why, you might ask, is that the case? Because Chris Young feels like, look, I am trying to put the people on this team right now who are playing the best right now, who are giving us the best chance to win right now. And based on Dane Dunning's struggles at the end of last year and Evan Carter struggling through his injuries and the fact that they both had challenging springs, they weren't the best players to make this roster right now. And it just kind of goes into that same mentality of they are really trying to win in 25. A lot of people, like we said, have them picked to win not just the AL West but the American League pennant. Yeah. And so
this team has that kind of potential.
Right. It just adds to why people could and should be excited here for opening day 2025.
Yeah. Let's one last thing before we head outside, because we're going to bring you guys some of the clubhouse from earlier today. Bochy talked. We talked with Josh Young talked. And Josh Young gave gifts to the entire team. He talked a little bit about
Dak
that as well
Prescott?
as about the lineup. fully going Cowboys mentality with that, kind of running back, buying stuff for the offensive line type of deal. So we'll bring you all of that here in just a moment. But I want to drill down a little bit deeper on the Evan Carter of it all, because that did surprise a lot of people.
Yes.
And I think it's important to remember just how young this dude is. He was a baby when he came up in 23, and he was great in 23. He was instrumental in their run in September. He was huge during their World Series run. You're always going to remember Evan Carter, prominently and positively just off of that. But if he had just been in the minors this entire time and didn't come up until next spring, he'd still kind of just be right about on time. He's still super young, so it's probably a little disappointing, but he's battled serious injury, and he needs a minute to go kind of find that confidence again, find that rhythm again, and he's going to be back on the Major League roster at some point this year, you have to imagine, but right now is just not that time.
I think about what I was doing at 22 years old.
Right?
Not
he doesn't
anything
turn 23
near,
until August.
Not anything.
He's a baby.
Comparatively. So, yes, it's an incredible point you make there. He is so young, and I think towards the end of the spring training, we saw that it was all in his head. He was pushing, he was pressing so hard. He knew that final roster spot was on the line for him, and you could see the results being impacted by that pressure at the plate. And I think you're exactly right. What Chris Young talked about wanting to do with him is just get him some at-bats, get his confidence back up, and as soon as he gets to the level of the Evan Carter that they know and love, he said he'll be right back up here playing with the Rangers. So it's, I think it's just a bump in the road of what is expected to be a very long career for a 22-year-old right now.
I think you're going to like Kevin Pillar, though, too, by the way.
Yes.
Bruce Bochy talked about him before the game, a guy who lives around here. He said Pillar, even as long as he's been in the big leagues, he was really fired up to get the news that he made the Major League roster and that he was going to have an opportunity to continue his career. He's savvy veteran. He's been doing this for a long time, and he still has that joy for the game. I think he's going to be fun to watch for however long that is, and not necessarily he would automatically go down or be released if they do bring Carter up, but whatever that roster construction looks like whenever that time comes, we'll see. But in the meantime, I think you're going to enjoy what Kevin Pillar can do, because he's even as advanced in his career as he is, he still's got a lot of fervor to him. So
does he give you Kevin Millar references?
That's an interesting, just because of the name.
Yes, exactly. And because we're playing the Red Sox.
I don't know if anybody's quite Kevin Millar. He's a completely different animal.
I know.
But yeah, that's he was very he talked to the media today too, and he was fired up about being a part of this lineup and just seeing the power that this group can bring and the production that this offense can bring. Yeah. He's excited to be a part of it. So yeah,
well, we're excited to be a part of opening day. I know that.
Heck yeah.
And I know there are a lot of guys that were talking with us ahead of today's game in the clubhouse, Bruce Bochy included.
Yes. So we'll let you guys watch a little bit of what Boch and some of the players had to say pregame, and while that's going on, we're going to head outside and go find some fans and hopefully some lunch as well.